Hey everybody, MsMoon here. I wish I would have actually had like the foresight to think about shooting this in Sunday, but I didn't. I'm kind of glad that I didn't though, because this week's report would have been lackluster. What I was thinking about doing was basically trying to go back to that old random days at NAC thing where I would have like a weekly post. I mean, I guess just because I've been kind of around video now, like I've been helping Kat, mostly just doing tech support for her, where she just posts things that she wants to in the video timeline. I basically just help her post it the way she wants to. The thing with the kids is going on, at least it is for last week. Last year we came up with this thing called the Young Gamers Guild, and it's basically a thing where kids can play D&D and Pokemon during summer, and it opens up the hobby to kids playing those games, essentially. We tried to do a weekly D&D thing where there was a campaign over the series of like 8 weeks. And it didn't go as well as we thought it was gonna go. We only had people show up on a Tuesday, so that meant that the Tuesday game was the one that was going to be repeated. It didn't really, I mean, it worked, obviously. I have some pictures from that, which are really cute. And it worked in the sense that it established like the groundwork of what we were trying to do, but it didn't work to the fullest extent that we had hoped for. So one of the parents basically told us, you know, most of the reason why kids can't do an 8-week thing during the summer is because there is going to be at least some vacation, there's going to be some camp activity, some sort of something going on. So what you might want to think about doing is have a whole week of D&D as opposed to like 8 weeks, one session. You have multiple sessions in 1 week. And Dan took that to heart, and we shopped that around. The thing that we came up with was 9 weeks, 4-day campaigns. So this last week was a whole campaign, and it was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because Wednesday's for Pokemon kids. Last week was FamiCo. I basically plundered the Stibbles Codex of Companions that I backed on Kickstarter. Thanks so much, Logan and his team. The Runesmith is awesome. I took from Stibbles and I was like, okay, these are gonna be the critters. Not Critical Role fans. These are these are gonna be the kind of like Pokemon, essentially. But I was like, I can't use Pokemon. Let me try and come up with something else. And I kept coming back to the term familiar and companion. I came up with since Pokemon is pocket monster, I thought familiar, companion, FamiCo sounds cute. We can use that. So basically they plunked into a city that I made, and I had a big map. I posted an Instagram photo of the map yesterday in hopes that I would be able to post another Instagram picture of this week's map at the end of the campaign. But anyway, the idea was they got plunked into a city, and it's FamiCoto on Bellieswell Island, and they had come across somebody that had a FamiCo. The person told them, yeah, there's this island where they train them, and you can have a companion, and the companion can basically be like a familiar, but an actual physical animal. So it's called a familiar companion. FamiCo. They got there, they picked out their FamiCo, and they looked around, and they decided, okay, we're gonna go into the wild and look and see if there's more FamiCos, because they had heard there were. They did a couple of searches. Some of them were more interested in finding other FamiCos than others, but the ones that weren't interested in finding extra FamiCos were amused by the things that the other kids found. There's a lot of schadenfreude there because they found a couple of things that they were like, huh, I don't want that, which was wild to me. And then while they were out, they saw a blimp go over the FamiCoto city. They heard a lot of exploding. And when they got back, they realized that a dastardly team of people called Team Rodeo had rustled up all of the FamiCos in the city sector and abducted them somewhere. Now, I gave them options. I was like, okay, so that's the end of day 1. Would you guys prefer to go after Team Rodeo? Or do you want to train your current FamiCos or maybe get more FamiCos and train them, trade things out, see how that goes? And they were very gung-ho in figuring out the team rodeo thing. They got back and they investigated, right? And the blimp went somewhere north, but then it turned and it went towards inland. So nobody in town really knew exactly where it went. The kids were pretty divided about it, but they ended up going north to a small town, and they saw that the town was in an uproar, and they found 4 people with FamiCos, and those people were wearing cowhide vests and cowboy boots and cowboy hat. They assumed some things, and Team Rodeo was rustling up the FamiCos there. It turned out to be 6 people. 2 were going through houses and stuff. So it took 2 hours for that combat because it was 6 bad guys and their FamiCos plus 5 kids and their FamiCos. A lot of turns. But it took them a while. They finally got a prisoner out of it. They found out that there was someplace warm that the Team Rodeo was supposed to be teaming up with in the mountains. And since the mountains that they were close to were cold and snowy, they realized that it couldn't possibly be that. So they went down to, they were thinking, well, it's got to be at the volcano. They also found out about a rendezvous they were supposed to be having at the lake town. So they went to the lake town, and there was a barn being burnt down. There were 6 more of the Team Rodeo goons. They put out the fire. 3 of them got away, and they captured 3 of them, or killed. It was never really established. From that, they got that it was that not only was it the volcano, they needed keys to get in, and it wasn't keys like a lock, it was keys like a crystal that you put in a door and it opens. So, yeah. They got one of the keys off of one of the guys there. And then the last session was getting into the volcano base. The bottom of the volcano base was mostly where storage was, but also like there was like bathrooms, and there was an area where all the stolen FamiCos were. Middle floor was bedrooms and lounge areas and a cafeteria. Somebody blew up the side of the wall and magma started flooding in. And they decided to run up the stairs to the 3rd one because they had gotten the other key. They ran up the stairs to the 3rd one. And they were like, we're going to short rest here. And I was like, you're going to spend 4 hours in this stairwell with everything that's going on? Yeah. Okay, so how much hit points do we get back? It's funny. You take 17 damage. Why? Because there's a gun in the ceiling that's firing fireballs at you right now because you thought you thought you could just take a nap or a little bit of a rest in the stairwell where the main boss is on the top floor. Okay. Anyway, the paladins did some work. They all had healing potions, so they healed up as much as they could. Moved into the next area. There was nobody there. There was a huge aquarium. They found the monitoring system and realized that lava was leaking into the base. So they were like, let's move the aquarium. It didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Found, because there was a mechanical bull. Okay, editing MsMoon here. Sorry my voice is jank. I forget to mention the full description of this room. There is an aquarium, a mechanical bull, and a big desk. There's also a chaise lounge that looks out over a window view. But yeah, those are the things that are in the room. Sorry. The desk had 3 things on one side and a big orange thing at the bottom, and it had 3 things on one side and a big clear like crystal in the center, like a scrying orb or something. And one side of it let you basically see the different floors. So they saw the magma flooding in, and it freaked them out, and they thought, move the aquarium. That didn't work out. Then somebody pushed the big orange button, and the base proceeded to start blowing up. So with a very quick investigation roll, one of the kids realized that they have pushed every button on the desk. Nothing has happened. they might think about looking at that mechanical bull switch, especially since that's like where somebody might be hiding something. And after pounding that mechanical bull switch a couple of times, the secret door opened up where there was a teleportation pad. They went somewhere else, and they met the nefarious Conway Twitty and his mechanical horse, and they defeated him. So they didn't rescue the stolen FamiCos in the mountains explosion with volcano bases. They're a little wild. So they didn't free the stolen FamiCos, but they defeated Team Rodeo. And that, I guess, is all that matters. Other than that, that was last week. This week was supposed to be the sweet treats week. I will probably make another video about that because this one's probably already too long. But that one's not firing. Only one kid showed up yesterday, and we can't fire unless there are two. At least this week, I'll be able to put more effort into next week. I know that kids are going to want to show up for next week. They've mentioned it. I talked to them about what the theme was going to be, and they said, yeah, we're going somewhere next week. We can't make it, but what's the week after that? And I said, it's essentially Spelljammer. It's Treasure Planet. It's ships in space. And they were like, ooh, that sounds really cool. So I know there will be kids for that. Other than that, I'm going to drink my coffee and enjoy the few minutes I have before work. I'll see you guys later.